Hello, everyone. Good morning, maybe good evening, good afternoon. This is George, program assistant with the GADS program for 2022. I'll be doing a lab that will be covering setting up a development environment, nodejs. Okay, it is in the module getting started with application development. There are actually three labs here: Python, Java, and of course Node.js. I've seen complaints from JavaScript users about the Node.js lab. Let me run that lab through and see if I'll run into that same error and see how we can correct that, if it's something we can correct ourselves or we need to pass that information on to Pluralsight. So first of all, you right click on this button and open this in a new private window. Let me check my volume, make sure I'm heard properly. Okay, so I've done that already, so I'll simply go there. Okay, so the lab is for 2 hours, and let's run through the objectives of this lab. Provision a Google Cloud Computing Engine instance, connect to the instance using SSH, install software on the instance, and verify the software installation. Okay, this I would advise you to read through before starting. It helps you to be able to have an understanding of what you are expected to do, and perhaps get yourself prepared so that you would be able to achieve that within the allotted time. Okay, so let's quickly start this lab. Click on Start Lab. Okay, I think I did that. My internet is a bit slow, so some things will not respond so quickly. Okay, so already my internet is having issues. I've been having issues with my internet. That's just how today wants to be. It's one of those days. Let me click again. Okay, so that's definitely an issue for me. Okay. All right, so one moment, let me fix that. Okay, my internet is back. Hopefully we should go through. We've gone through. Okay. All right, so first thing first is to create a virtual machine in the US Central 1 region, and enable access to all cloud APIs, and enable HTTP traffic while setting it up. Okay, so let me refresh this again and see what happens. Okay, so internet issues. Okay. All right, so the lab has already been launched. Okay, so let's copy the password here. Let me zoom in a bit. Okay, and then open the console. Same stuff. Internet. My internet has been slow since early this morning. Just have to manage it that way. Okay, so the first instruction is to create a VM, give it a name, and then make sure it's created in this region and zone, and then enable full access to all Google Cloud APIs, and of course enable firewall rule that allows HTTP traffic. Okay, this is turning out to be a problem. Okay, I'm able to connect. Apparently my network needs to be extremely sharp to be able to proceed. I'm hoping Google Cloud will be forgiving. It's okay. So with several attempts, it allows me to go through. Okay. All right, so we'll do this. Apologies once more for my network. Okay, so we have one more screen to go through before we start. Meanwhile, let us copy this name of the instance we're supposed to create. Copy that one. Okay. Once we do this last acceptance of the terms, no need for email. Email doesn't belong to you. Okay, so don't click on update email updates. The email you're using for this lab is always a new one. It's always created for this particular lab, and once the lab is over or once you run out of time, that email will be destroyed. Always endeavor to close your labs. Even if you run out of time, make sure you end it. Extremely important because that lab is linked to your Pluralsight credential, and it's likely that next time you want to try a new lab if you're unfortunate that the previous lab is still running, then you will not be able to start a new lab until you close that lab, and in that case you will usually need to ask Quick Labs support for help to be able to do that. Okay, so let me put this here and let me go down here to update this. Allow HTTP traffic, allow full access to all Google Cloud APIs. Come back here. Okay, give it a few minutes, a few seconds, and then check to see if we did what we're supposed to do. Okay, so you check your score from here. If you have issues getting full scores for each tasks that you've been given, you can always click on check my progress, and a pop-up window would tell you what the problem most likely is. So we SSH into that instance and install Git, update it first, then install Git. Then we bring in, we install nodejs. Curl command brings in this file and then passes that file to the sudo to bash, and you run that as an administrator. So the pipe there is to pass whatever you get from this other side to the right hand side, and then that will be run as a bash command and install nodejs. Okay, so let's quickly do that one. Let me close this. My page keeps refreshing when I close any window. That's because of the poor network. Okay, so let's do this. Some of your browsers might block pop-up windows. Mine just did, so I have to click here and say always allow, and then try it one more time. So make sure yours isn't doing that. If it is, just change the settings, and it should allow you to bring up the SSH window into your VM. So let me put this here. Maybe I could do something like this and do something like this. Okay, that would be helpful, really helpful. Okay, so let's give the SSH window a few seconds to connect, do the key exchange, and of course connect. The channel is always secure. All right, so let me increase the font size to large. Okay, so the first thing we're supposed to do is apt-get update, and so update, and then if that is successful, you do apt-get install git, and if that is successful, we run the last command. Oh no, sorry, that's not the last command, the last one following. Okay, we don't have a last command. That was actually, yes we do, we have this one here. Okay, so but let's run this one first and see how it goes. Okay, hopefully internet will be forgiving. Okay, update is done, and then we install git. So if you're new to Git, Git is a version control tool, a tool that helps you to version your files and your work, helps you to control how you work on your projects, most especially if you're working in a team. It's a really useful tool and very important tool for any developer. So it's extremely important that we learn to use Git. There are tutorials out there that will teach you this. Okay, so this is a deprecated version of Node. Okay, so Node 12.x is no more supported, but that's okay. Just follow what the lab says, and then the next thing we're supposed to do here is apt install. Have I ever typed? Okay, apt install. Okay, install nodejs. Okay, and then we do that. Okay, so if you notice, sometimes it asks for confirmation before going ahead, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes if you run a command previously that asks for a password, it doesn't ask subsequently for subsequent command. That's because authentication is timed, is based on session. So that current authentication session might be for like 5 minutes. So if you authenticate yourself once, after that 5 minutes after that, or within 5 minutes range from the time you did, you should be able to run commands and not be required to authenticate yourself again. But after that 5 minutes, you will have to do that. Okay, so we've checked and we're okay with that. So they configure the VM to run the application. Do node version, node v. Hey, what did I type? All right, so let's do that properly. Okay, let's check what we did. Okay, so version 12.22.112. So let me clear the screen. All right, so let's clone this repository, and the depth here tells us we shouldn't go beyond the first directory, okay, which is training data analyst. Apparently the directory might be more than that. Okay, so let's do that. Let's clone that one. Then we create a symbolic link. What this simply does is create a shortcut to this location. Okay, normally if you want to get to the end of this path, you would have to type so many cd commands to get in here, but if you don't want to do that, you simply create a symbolic link, and that link will be named the dev env. And so whenever I do cd into dev env, I'm actually going all the way from here into this location. So that's what symbolic links are used for. We also have hard links. Check out the manual, the documentation for that. So that's been created. So if you do ls and then you pass the L command, and you see that link there, see they're pointing to this location. See, you have this here telling you that this symbolic link is this location is actually pointing to this. So whatever you do here will be reflected, will be carried out at this particular location. Okay, so that's it. So we change into, okay, dev env. All right, so we're in there, and then we run this application. Okay, all right, the application is found in a folder called server, and the entry point is app.js. You run that, and let's see what happens. Okay, so it has started. We'll return to the console and hit the external IP of our VM. So let me hide this one. Let me push this here, and that's the external IP. Let me hit that and see what happens. Okay, so that works. Let me bring this in. Okay, so hello GCP dev. So that went well. All right, so then what else do? We stop the application, and then we install npm install in Node. There's a package.json file that contains the requirements for any project. By running npm script npm install, you should be able to install from that file. Okay, so let me drop this here. Okay, so it searches for a package.json file, okay, it says npm notice created a log file. Okay, you should commit this file, and okay, so let's see if we can look at package.js. Okay, all right, okay, so that's the file. Okay, all right, so the next thing we do is we do this, run this. Okay, so this returns details about your machine, your instance. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, then we check to see our progress, if we did well. Okay, we did, and that's the end of the lab. Okay, it's a simple lab. It's a simple lab. Okay, so that's the end of it. So let's kill this one, and then extend this, and then close the lab, submit. Okay, so for Java, you would simply do the same thing. Okay, so make sure you stop the lab, end the lab, please. And that's that for that lab. So leave your comments and your likes, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Bye bye.